Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Farm Kenya show. And today, being a beautiful and wonderful Tuesday, the weather varies from where you are watching us from Kenya. Right here in Nairobi, it's been a little bit chilly. It's quite unpredictable. Maybe we can attribute this to matters to do with climate change. But even as the climate changes, there are certain problems that remain a challenge, a constant in our environment. And today we'll be tackling one of the biggest problems. What is this? It is the issue of pest management, okay? And pest control in our farms. And today we'll be very specific on one of the key products that Kenyans do love. We can't stay without adding this into our food and our meals. Talk about capsicum. Some of you call it bell pepper, and others, since you're in Christmas mode, you know, we're already entering that season shortly. We call it hoho, you know. And today, hoho is one of those products that Kenyans do love. It has a lot of market appeal, but also there is the challenge of pests. We've seen farmers go big and make huge losses because they are not able to do proper pest control and management in their farms. And today on the show, we'll make sure that you're properly informed and equipped to make sure that your capsicum is healthy and is reaching to the market in the best shape and form. And in that discussion, I shall have Marshall Nyagilo, who's with us since today, is an agronomy consultant. He'll be giving us the details in regards to matters to do with pest management and control in capsicum farming. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, Chef Ron Kamau is with us, looking sharp as always. Chef, you're very serious, man. You know, you can change this country, Gen Z. So let's talk. Today, what are we cooking? What is on our menu?
Today, something from one of the concepts that we have, bird exchange. It's called rupee thighs. So to accompany it, we're gonna make it with cassava fries.
Okay.
Yes.
It's called rupee thighs.
Rupee thighs.
Like rupee, Indian currency.
Yes, exactly.
Then thighs for chicken thighs.
Yes. Then you just take two words from different things, put them together, and you have a dish.
Yeah. Oh, I was tempted to, because it's an Indian cuisine, you know. That's actually one of my favorite movies. Did you watch Three Idiots?
Yes, I have.
That movie inspires you to, you know, go the other way of thinking, but also creativity. So today is rupee thighs.
Rupee thighs, yes.
And what is the inspiration of this cuisine?
This is the flavors that are incorporated in this chicken is of Indian influence.
Okay.
The spices that are used, it's a basic Indian marination, or rather marination that's usually common within, you know, marinating chicken in the Indian cuisine.
Okay.
Yes, because it has yogurt, some Indian spices, turmeric, cumin, and all that.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, can't wait to sample rupee thigh. We'll be paying the price later on. But right now, let's start with some news. All right, we start on shaky grounds, and this touches on sand, where the county government of Makueni has now banned sand harvesting in the area. This move is set to help conserve the environment. Now, following the ban, the area actually has started realizing the benefits of this particular ban.
Maji iko kwa wingi, tumepanda boga. Kama mimi ni mkaaji wa hii area, shamba langu ndo hii, mnaona venye iko na vyakula, viazi, na maji iko kwa wingi. Na sasa wenye kama mimi kama mama Wale wamama wengine wenye walikuwa wanakujia maji hapa wanachimba kisima inakuwa very deep. Sasa mtu anakuja anapata maji inapita, maji iko kwa wingi.
Makueni has a huge challenge with water, and I think this is a challenge that has been taken seriously. And for the future of the county, it's very important that that work can continue. And we hope to be able to, in some way, support this.
Just like other counties are doing, particularly the Lake region, as a big cooperation with them, we have interested the ambassador in the South Economic Bloc.
All right, now away from Makueni, let's talk issues to do with CAT or MIRA. Now, members of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya have expressed strong opposition to proposals aiming at exempting, that is, cathinone and catine, these are substances found in MIRA, and from being classified as psychotropic substances. The Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill 2024 seeks to amend the current law to remove MIRA from the list of narcotic substances, arguing that the current classification negatively affects the MIRA market. Proponents of the amendment believe the change will boost the economic prospects of the MIRA industry, a vital source of livelihoods for many Kenyans. However, some PSK members argue that the amendment contradicts both the Kenyan Constitution and international conventions to which Kenya is a signatory.
The bill argues that the classification of these substances as a psychotropic by the National Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, which is NACADA, negatively impacts the market for MIRA, despite the government efforts to boost the sector. However, we as the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya strongly oppose this amendment, and we argue that it contradicts both the Kenyan Constitution and the international conventions to which Kenya is a party.
Removing cathinone from chemicals that are classified as a psychotropic substance will be a big mistake. And out of that, if that one happens, the next thing that will happen is to have companies worldwide making synthetic models of the same and bringing those synthetic models to our country and all the other parts of the world.
When it comes to looking at the quality aspects of that medicine, that quality is within the pharmacist. What we'd like the vets to focus on is on the practice of veterinary medicine.
Now on matters innovation and where it meets solving problems that face the Kenyan society, a research by Water and Sanitation Program shows that poor sanitation costs Kenya 27 billion shillings each year. This is quite a huge amount, and the cost is inequitably distributed, with the highest burden falling disproportionately on the poor. Now, Bramwell Bura visited a group of award-winning youths in Kisumu who've come up with a modern, eco-friendly toilet. Take a look.
Water remains one of the most important natural resources. For school-going children, experts warn that access to clean water can significantly impact on their education and future. Availability of this precious commodity at the Kitui Comprehensive School for the Blind in Kitui County is said to have had profound impact on the education of its learners who are abled differently.
We could not get enough water in the school, and bearing in mind that our school is a boarding one, we need water for the services that the runners require.
Whereas experts argue that quality education requires a healthy and enabling environment for learners, and that water, being just as essential as books in schools, for years, this school grappled with water scarcity, threatening learning activity for its young ones. It is one of the learning institutions in the county that received water tanks to help address its water scarcity challenge under the USAID-funded Kenya Integrated Emergency Response Project that has seen at least 75 tanks of 10,000-litre capacity distributed in various institutions across the county.
Formerly, we had 54 runners. Right now, we have a population of 74 runners. So even now, the runners are comfortably doing their schooling here.
Out of the 75 tanks, 64 of them were installed in the schools, and 11 of them were installed in health facilities, and especially targeting women at the maternity wing and the catchment within those facilities at large.
Access to clean water and safe sanitation are top global health priorities. In many ways, public health experts argue that water plays a critical role in the reduction of disease burden, improving health, economy, and even education. However, many people still grapple with water scarcity, a situation that affects at least 2.2 billion people globally who still lack access to safe drinking water. The once dry taps at Kasale Health Center in Kitui County now flow freely, each drop now bringing a rehydrating relief of health and wellness for its patients, especially those in need of maternity services.
At some point, we used to send them to come with some water so that it can help them during the maternity, because we need a lot of water there. When you send some mothers, they could bring dirty water, which is not, but they brought what was available.
Kitui is one of the 47 counties in Kenya that has experienced climate-induced crisis like drought for decades. Experts warn that severe scarcity of water due to changes in weather patterns poses a threat for these communities to thrive. Experts say water is at the core of sustainable development and is critical for socio-economic development, food production, and even for human survival in itself. In a bid to ensure communities from Kitui County, that is in the arid and semi-arid lands of Kenya, get access to clean water, outreach programs to sensitize the residents on water purification are often conducted to help fight the burden of disease and infections linked with poor sanitation and lack of access to clean water. On the other hand, in Tana River County, such water kiosks operated digitally are a reprieve for hundreds of residents who are forced to trek for hours in search of the natural resource. In Gora area, access to water has helped reduce the human-wildlife conflict the residents have battled for years. The crocodile-infested River Tana has been a death trap for both human and domestic animals that depend on it for water.
Hata tukisafiri mahali tunaenda na wasiwasi. Tumewacha watoto nyumbani, tukirudi watoto wetu wameenda na mamba.
However, with the launch of Gora Water Project, the cases have significantly reduced according to the residents. Their animals no longer have to risk falling prey to the mighty jaws of the reptiles. With a monthly fee of 500 shillings, herders get to have their animals quench their thirst at this water point in Gora village. Experts say when water supplies are improved and sustainable, it significantly enhances a community's economic growth and reduces poverty. Gloria Milimu, KTN News.
That's beautiful. Interventions in regards to water in Kitui County. And definitely we will be bringing the story about eco-friendly toilets in our subsequent shows. But talking about water and some pictures that we've seen there, the camels, we head to Wajir County, where an area infamously known for deadly camel rustling is now embracing crop farming. It's a story of Bulagao, a village in the western side of Wajir County, where shackles of war have been wiped out through the introduction of crop farming, an alternative that has not only ended conflict but also provided jobs opportunities for the young people. Take a look.
Welcome to Wajir County. This is the border between Wajir and Isiolo counties. This section has been a no-go zone. Conflicts between the Borana and the Godia communities has been the order of the day for many years. Camel rustling and fight for scarce resources in this area has fueled intercommunal violence.
But the fact that they've now settled and started farming and are making quite some decent money out of this has actually even helped peace building.
But the once volatile areas are quickly changing. Now, this is the new face of Bula Gauss farming. The county government of Wajir has sought to end conflicts by empowering locals to start crop farming. Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi says the initiative is very profitable.
Kama county government tunajaribu kuanzisha hizi shamba katika kila kona, ndio watu wetu wajitosheleze kwa maneno ya chakula, wapate pesa na pia inasaidia kuajiri watu wengi.
This is just the first bit of a project where we will extend this farm much further and help to allow this entire community of 2,000 people to be able to also grow fruits and vegetables, have fruit trees.
However, it has not been a walk in the park. The program, benefiting about 2,000 residents, has encountered challenges in its transformative journey.
Kuweza kuwahimiza ya kwamba wanaweza kupata pesa kutoka kwa ardhi ilikuwa changamoto ambayo tuliweza kupitia. Changamoto ya pili ilikuwa elimu ya wao kuelimika kuhusu mambo ya ukulima. Ili tuchukua muda kama shirika la World Food Program tuliweza kutembea nao polepole ili waweze kuelimika na waweze kupata ile skills ambazo wanaweza kutumia katika ukulima bora.
Nilikuwa na mkumilaji ya ngamia na ngombe, lakini sasa hii vile sasa hawa wa WFP wametupatia training ya kujua hiyo mulima, alafu sasa hii tumekuwa mulimaji ya sasa hii tunajua kulima.
More residents are expected to join the program. Daniel Kariuki, KTN News.
All right, definitely that is our news segment. All right, yeah, the Farm Kenya show. Right now, as I had told you, our focus today is on capsicum and the capsicum value chain. We understand that this is one of the most in-demand products in Kenya, and there are people who've made significant investment into capsicum farming. But one small mistake or not paying attention to key processes, you end up in losses. And today we want to discuss proper management of capsicum, especially when it comes to pest, which is critical. I'm joined by Marshall Nyagilo, who's an agronomy consultant. Marshall, welcome to Farm Kenya Show.
Thank you very much, Nawakif Kimboy. I'm privileged to be here.
Asante sana.
Yes.
So capsicum, first of all, we understand that it's one of the products, I don't know, just going back a little bit in history, is it something that has always been heavily consumed in the country, or is it a recent phenomenon?
No, capsicum has heavily been consumed in the country from the beginning. Yes.
Oh.
I remember the more the population is going, the more we advance also in our technology and even lifestyles, especially in the restaurants, the more the demand goes up. Exactly.
Okay.
Because you can't compare the old days, the number of hotels we had, and the amount of innovation in cooking as today.
Definitely.
Exactly.
And even the pursuit of healthy eating habits.
Exactly.
Also the way people do kitchen gardens, it seems it's a very popular phenomenon for city dwellers.
Exactly.
And capsicum is one of the products that people grow a lot.
Yes.
Definitely. So with that, then we've seen people go into capsicum farming because it offers a good opportunity. Like, you know, the yellow ones, the colored ones.
Yes.
You buy one, you're told, hey, this one is 100 bob. You know, the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I can plant some of this.
Yes.
It seems like a good venture, but you have to go in right.
Exactly.
So for starters, maybe we start with the foundations. When you're going into capsicum farming as a farmer, You have your piece of land, and you say, I want to go into capsicum farming. What are the considerations that you have to make sure that you're starting right?
First and foremost, before you venture in any crop production, make sure you have water. Water is the key input. Before you even go for land, just know, where am I going to source this land? Do I have enough water? Because you can't grow anything without the water. Don't even think about the market. The key ingredient when you start farming is having this resource called water, because it defines everything from the quality to the longevity after the market harvest and ETCs. So first and foremost, know sure that I have water, reliable water, which is sustainable for the production. Because capsicum, most fruit crops are heavy drinkers at certain stages of production. Once you have the water, look at now the technical aspect. Do you understand the crop?
Okay.
Yes. You need to understand it from detail one, the moment you bring the seeds, to the final stage when you're harvesting. If you don't understand the crop, seek for advice of genuine expertise, because you know Kenya is also crippling with the right expertise in production, which is a big challenge.
Okay.
Once you get the right expertise, now matters of market will stream on their own.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Because let me tell you, the market can be there, but you don't have the right expertise. Where are you going?
Okay.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
So, you've done your homework.
Yeah.
You've gone into production.
Yes.
You've sought expertise.
Yes.
And it reaches now you have your crops.
Correct.
Proper crop management is a totally different ballgame. Pest is one of the biggest problems that farmers face. Marshall, talk to us about how big a problem is when it comes to pest. How big of a problem is it in capsicum farming in Kenya?
Definitely, pest management is the biggest challenge when it comes to capsicum, because capsicum are quite sensitive, quite fragile at different stages, especially when this crop goes into a position whereby it's flowering. If you didn't start early and the pest manages to infiltrate at flowering, you are already late, because the flower is the crucial point of the quality fruit. If the flower is in a disorganized state, let me say it's maybe the nutrition was good, but you gave the pest, because you know who is a pest? That's an organism that is where it doesn't belong. So if, for example, if Kembo is inside the greenhouse and it does not belong there, is a pest. So you have to deal with...
That's quite a very interesting example.
Yeah, so this thing, you have to deal with it at the early stage. I usually say prevent or protect. Don't wait to cure.
Okay.
Yes.
Prevention is better than cure.
Yes. So prevent or protect it. Now this will define for you even if you're using the chemical products, which mostly in my own perspective, I don't usually recommend more of the chemical controls.
Okay.
If you start early, you'll find even the chemical control measures will be more limited.
Okay.
Because definitely you scout. You look at how adverse is it. Is it necessary for chemical control? Is it necessary for biological control? Is it necessary for mechanical control? Now this is a scenario whereby I find only one crop is deceased, and how vast is it? Pluck it off. Don't go for the chemicals.
Okay.
You simply just uproot it and dispose it off well, because the moment it gets into the planting media with its soil or soilless, it infects the whole unit. So now I go for the mechanical.
Okay.
Now that's a control strategy.
Oh.
Exactly.
So as you scan, you assess how to actually attack.
Yes.
But the nature and the kind of pests differ from crop to crop.
Correct.
When it comes to capsicum and capsicum farming within Kenya, what are some of the nightmare pests that are hurting a lot of farmers out there?
We don't usually say nightmare. We say the most important.
Oh, it's important.
Yes, we say the most important. So, for instance, in capsicum, the most important pests, and let me elaborate more. A pest can be an insect or a disease.
Okay.
They are all pests. But the most important pest, for instance, on the side of the insects is thrips. Yes, they are the trickiest. They are tiny, cylindrical shaped insects that belong to the order Thysanopterans. Yeah, I think that's a little bit more advanced, but you'll understand it.
Okay.
So the Thysanopterans, they are usually small, tiny, and quite of a headache because even of their mode of reproduction. You find these insects, some reproduce without even getting in contact with the males.
Okay.
Yes. So you might think I can control the males and limit the females from getting being fertilized by the males. Now, this kind of insects are usually a big headache for guys who are getting into capsicum farming.
Okay, and we're gonna answer how, first of all, you differentiate the males from the females, and secondly, how big of a headache is it? But right now, we want to take a short break right here at the Farm Kenya show. We are at the point we're discussing some of the important pests that are affecting a lot of capsicum growers in the country. One of the biggest ones is thrips, which we're handling right now. But we want to take a short break. In case you have any question, talk to us on social media at KTN_home_, at Noah_Kipkimboy on social media, and we'll be ready to answer some of your questions as a capsicum farmer or potential capsicum farmer. But for now, we take our break.
Unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kukulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
StarTimes Home Solar Solution with solar panels, hybrid inverter, and lithium battery, empowering you to do the things that really matter. A complete and reliable home solar solution. Call us today. StarTimes Solar. Power your life.
Team Kenya Highlights. Brought to you by Versman. Be your own man. Every step counts. Follow Team Kenya's incredible Olympic journey with live updates and exclusive coverage. Witness their dedication and triumphs inspiring the nation. Watch as Team Kenya shines brightly at the Olympics with daily updates only on Team Kenya Highlights. Team Kenya Highlights, brought to you by Versman. For the champions who shine every day. Take on every challenge with confidence.
In Zari, nothing is certain. Will you survive the jealousy?
Unajiona tajiri, eh? Zitaisha tu, tuone utaringana pesa gani.
The secrets.
Ukiambia mtu yeyote boss. Nini uniambia Lola?
The deception.
The family.
Will Nina survive Lola?
How is this possible?
The ultimate face-off. Zari continues weeknights at 8:30 on Maisha Magic Plus, DSTV channel 163, GoTV channel 3.
It all begins with a single step.
This is Game of Ninja.
I really like it.
Get ready for the ultimate television experience where entertainment, inspiration, and information collide. From heart-pounding dramas,
how can you be so shameless? You've brought this woman into our house despite what happened?
To laugh-out-loud comedies,
Jinga kabisa, utakufa maskini ndugu yangu. You will die angry.
To adrenaline-pumping sports coverage.
Limoto.
With a diverse lineup of programming curated to entertain, educate, and engage.
I have nothing more to add.
Unajua kila mtu huwa na ndoto na huwa na maono.
KTN Home is your one-stop shop destination for quality television.
What's happening?
Talk to your wife.
I asked you, are you happy?
So why settle for anything less?
It's been a wonderful experience.
Join the millions of viewers who have made KTN Home their preferred choice for entertainment.
And that is what we mean by a wholesome, cutting-edge entertainment show.
KTN. Welcome home.
Get inspired by Afrimax, a continent bursting with creativity. Meet artists, designers, and cultural icons. Discover African lifestyle and culture as diverse and exciting as the continent itself. This is Afrimax.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
And welcome back to the Farm Kenya show. We are tackling capsicum to the core and the challenges, especially the issue of pest management in capsicum farming. And of course, in studio, we have Marshall Nyagilo, who's agronomy consultant. And we're talking about specific pests that are important, as he says, that sometimes it's a symbiotic, it serves a purpose in one way or the other. But we're talking about thrips. And you said this is one of the most popular pests.
Yes.
And important, as you had put it. Initially, you were describing what are thrips.
Yes. Now, thrips, they are small. They can be black, silver, but cylindrical is their key feature on the anatomy. Anatomy is now that the shape. So they are small and cylindrical. And remember, they are too tiny. So definitely, if you want to have a clear look and distinguish the male and the female, you'll have to need a magnifying glass. Exactly.
Okay.
For you to now take a clear view, and now you'll know this male, this female. But the key issue is not usually even the male and the female, is how do they get into your capsicum unit or farm. So one of the key challenges that farmers usually have when they're doing capsicum production, they underestimate the role of farm hygiene. The same way your house is neat, your kitchen is neat, your bedroom is neat, is the same way the farm should be neat. Because the moment you don't work on the farm hygiene, you harbor the pest. I think you understand the meaning of harboring. Definitely there's a weed that is a favorite to the thrips. It will hide there. Once it's hiding, it will lay. Once it's laid, now that's where the trouble will begin. They'll manifest into the capsicum. Now the headache with the thrips, these are sucking insects. They don't bite and chew. So they suck sap from the stems or the flowers. Now the problem with sucking insects, they're usually vector carriers of viruses, and very, very devastating viruses in crop production. So for instance, if thrips by any chance, they attack the crop unit in numbers, where the control limit, you might find yourself, you have to uproot a whole lot and destroy the whole crop. Sucking insects are very, very devastating because, for instance, this one will carry the vector for the tomato wilt virus. You know, tomatoes and capsicum are one family. So that's also a challenge in one way. I can't grow tomatoes this season, then next season I grow capsicum in the same area.
Okay.
It's totally out of order.
Okay.
Yes.
Definitely. So, thrips, you say farm hygiene is critical.
Critical.
It seems that is one of the preventative ways to counter thrips.
Exactly.
But in terms of observation, because you said you do scanning as a farmer.
Exactly.
You say these are tiny.
They are tiny.
So you have to really go to the detail and look at your
Brilliant.
plant.
Now that's a very good, crucial question. That's where now we introduce the integrated pest management system. Now, integrated pest management system is a system that controls but considers the health of the ecology. So it's like I'm bringing in nature, let me say in quotes, use nature to control nature. You reason with nature, you don't argue. You reason with nature. This is thrips. What do they like? What don't they like? For instance, rosemary in the surrounding definitely will interfere with their sensory receptors to locate capsicum. So you find the population won't be that much as opposed to when you don't have the rosemary in the surrounding.
So when you're doing your capsicum,
plant some rosemaries in that area.
Okay.
Bring in the Mexican marigolds if you have an idea what they are. They are also very good at repelling. Their scent usually interfere with the communication. These pests have a pheromone receptor. That's how they interact. The same way when one is here, it has a smell it will give out that will attract another. So when the environment has more of the rosemary odor, scent, Mexican marigold, they don't get to interact that easily. So the laying is also limited in one way or the other.
Okay.
So for you to scout, we have what we call the yellow and blue sticky traps. When you have them pinned in the farm unit area, any morning when you're doing your scouting, you will definitely check on the yellow sticky traps. You can see the amount that are attracted to this yellow color. They'll fly. They are not flying for long. They're most usually pushed by wind. So if the wind has pushed them to the sticky trap, you can definitely identify the numbers are coming in. Number two, you check on the leaf veins of the capsicum. They usually hide inside the leaf veins. So you open the leaf keenly, you'll see. So the moment you check this line, check the far, check the center, you'll see if there are more small ones or the larger ones, which can be black or silvery. Now, that's where you will know the adversity rate is at 10%, 11%, or what could be the best mode of controlling. That's where farmers have it tough.
Okay.
Yes, because farmers usually walk and just look. When they see the foliages they are green, they are luscious, shining, they'll assume my crop is okay. Then after 3 to 4 weeks, you start seeing some adverse activity on the flowers. Okay. The flowers are drooping. That tells you somebody is already sucking a lot. And in that sucking, the virus goes in. Then all of a sudden, you see them wilting one at a time. So that's already a devastating stage. You'll have to go the mechanical way, you uproot.
Okay.
But hygiene is the key word. Before you go for the chemical controls, because so far we are also having a lot of challenge on chemical use, safety, chemical use. That's the core challenge we are having in food security in Africa and Kenya as a whole.
Yes.
The pesticides are there, but the safety use is not considered. So Kipkemboi likes the yellow colored capsicum. You can eat it raw. Yeah, you chew it raw, it's very tasty. But now the procedures which have been used to get it to that quality, maybe the farmer didn't know which chemical to use safely in the production process. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from what I'm getting is very important, farm hygiene.
Yes.
Be intentional to create a distraction.
Correct.
Then integrated farm management system.
Pest management
system.
Yes.
Putting up this system, is it a simple standard procedure that a lot of farmers are doing, or is it something that is being ignored by many farmers?
Very good. Most farmers don't have an idea of the integrated pest management system, because I think on part of empowerment is a little bit still too low. Most of the crops that will help you to contain these pests, they are in your surrounding. They are in the agrovets. But we are in a scenario whereby you go to the agrovet, he gives you what he needs to be sold. Some don't give you what you need to contain a problem. That's where the headache is. But IPM is a very simple system. Rosemary is in our backyards, but people just know I use it for tea. Yes. Yes, you look at marigolds, we use them for aesthetics. We don't know that they play a critical role in pest and disease management.
All right.
So it's not sophisticated? No, it's not.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So as a farmer, also empower yourself with some of this information, because solution will be around you.
Yeah.
So you've spoken this sucking, the thrips suck the life out of the plant. You see the flowers drooling. Those are some of the symptoms that you see.
Yes.
You've talked about the level of impact of these trips.
Yes.
Yeah, there are those that you find at the onset stage. Of course, after preventative, if at all you miss that, right?
Yes.
You can find them at a small quantity, low quantity.
Yes.
And sometimes it's too much.
Correct.
So in terms of intervention and reaction, you say that varies. You can do the uprooting beat.
Yes.
The chemical elements of it.
Yes.
Because that is an element that people see as very easy, straightforward. You know, I apply chemical and it sorts this thing out.
In seconds.
Yes, in seconds. Talk to me about that element of abuse of chemical and maybe how to properly utilize that tool.
Now, when you talk about I don't really say abuse. I'll use the word misconception.
Okay.
Is misunderstanding. You get it? Farmers don't clearly understand when, what, and how to. For instance, they can spray a crop that is ready for harvest due in 5 days. But he sprays a product that the dose limit, lethal dose, I call it the lethal dose limit, it needs up to 12 days for it to be safe for harvest. But because the farmer goes there, he's in need and is like, these things are creating trouble. The person who is selling at the agrovet will tell you, I have the most powerful one, but won't ask you, what's the stage of your crop? Fruit, flowering, or before flowering? Now the tricky part, before flowering is very okay. Why? I'm not going to harvest anything. Number two, the most important insect on earth is the bee. For instance, if you are doing the open field crop production of capsicum. So before flowering, the bee is not at threat because the bee won't come to the flowers for anything. But at flowering stage, you'll spray a product that has an LD limit of 8 hours. What do I mean by 8 hours? From morning to evening, if the bee gets there, it's dead. Now this needs a tactic. So don't spray it in the morning. Spray it in the evening. The bee is in the hive. It's resting the whole night. So by the time the morning gets, the LD limit, lethal dose limit, are subsided. So you protected the pollinator.
Okay.
Now most farmers have no idea when and how to do the spraying. Yes.
I see that.
Correct.
So there are lots of bees that they have met their end.
Yes, yes.
Zimetumwa Sayuni just because there wasn't much proper way of application.
Correct.
So proper application and utilization of chemical varies with the stage of where your crop is.
Exactly.
Okay, definitely. So that is trips. Okay. Other than trips, which other one is one of the other most important one?
Now we'll go now to the disease and leave the insects. So for the disease, we have anthracnose. Now anthracnose is a fungal disease, also quite devastating in capsicum production. Now this one, the tricky part of it is when you are sourcing for planting materials. You know, there are farmers who will buy capsicum and take it, slice it up. He wants to redo the seed. There are people who are very local. They say, it will work, you know. But now you need to know where you are sourcing your planting material to handle scenarios like the fungal infection of anthracnose. Because anthracnose, it only manifests when the conditions are favorable.
Okay.
Yes, when the conditions are favorable. So how do you make the conditions unfavorable? Get clean planting materials from the seedling propagators who are registered and known, whom if anything goes wrong in your farm, you can go to them and say, I brought 10,000 seedlings, 5 are out in 2 hours. They will compensate you for that. But if you source it from someone who is not registered, you got the double loss. That's why you find farmers, he goes big, then goes small all of a sudden. So a disease like anthracnose can be brought into the planting materials or the planting media. The people are doing soilless in the greenhouses. If the media is already infested, then means you have to change the media or drench it with appropriate fungal components.
What are the signs and symptoms of anthracnose?
Exactly. Anthracnose, you just see the leaves start to droop. You might feel like, you might look at it and say, maybe something has chopped its main stem inside the planting media. They'll just droop. But the moment you pluck one, the stem is intact, but the root base is all scrapped off. It's like rotting already, slowly coming. And you know, if it starts with the main, it goes to the fruit. Then I think also in the market you've seen a scenario whereby the fruit has some punching on its sides. You might think they were compressed together. Those are signs already. The farm where they were being produced, the disease had already manifested inside.
Oh.
Yes. And that one, the best control is usually just uproot it and work on the media. Drench specific classes of fungicides to contain it, but not to finish it off. Contain for now, because it's a very devastating fungal infection again.
Okay.
Yes.
We tend to do an overkill most of the time.
Of course.
So how do you balance the containment and total eradication?
Okay, for instance, you know, when you are doing your scoutings, because I said anthracnose works best when the conditions are favorable. I have the water. I don't monitor my water. When it's too much, the environment around the root base will be very conducive for fungal growth. The spores, you know, they'll just manifest so easily. You find farmers know that when the crop has water, it's healthy. But when the crop has too much water, it's also unhealthy.
Too much of something is
too
poison.
much also is too dangerous, you know. So you monitor. You don't give too little and too much. Exactly. Number two, you work also on your spacing. You allow light to reach the root base of the planting media. Let it not be too compact and dark. Exactly.
I want to maximally utilize this piece of land.
No, don't go on maximally utilizing and losing maximally on this piece of land. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
So very, very important. Spacing, water, too much of it.
Planting material.
Planting material.
Yes.
Very, very critical.
Very critical.
Source for those ones.
Yeah.
You've said interventions. Of course, if already they are there, anti-fungis come in very handy, but, in limited formats just to contain.
Yes.
Which is very, very critical. And you've mentioned something quite interesting.
Yeah.
That some of the products that you have in the market actually bear the symptoms of pest situation at their production level. Is it one of those corridors that are a weak point in the capsicum ecosystem where some products substandard are able to reach the market, or how do you interpret that?
Oh, definitely it's one of the weak points in the corridors for the substandard products to reach the market. Yeah, because, you know, for instance, for a product to be allowed to operate for the farmers in the country, there's a particular channel whom are entitled for that. It's actually their responsibility. I usually talk about protocols. So there's someone who is supposed to implement the protocols and ask, which category of pest control material is it? Class 1, 2, or 3? Is it friendly for human use? Is it considering the health of the bees in the ecosystem? If it's not, then it's not supposed to be released to the farmers. If you find it at the farmers level using it, then definitely we have been compromised on one of our protocols. Yes, a big challenge also on healthy food production in the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of the pests that also came up, the issue of cutworms, is that a challenge?
Yeah, for instance, but not really a big headache. Cutworms, you know, cutworms are from moths. You know the moths. They lay their eggs probably in the soil. They hatch in the soil. So before they complete their metamorphosis, that is the stages of development, they are usually at the cut stages and they are devastating on the roots. So when I'm bringing the planting material, we are usually advising you drench a component that will, we have the anti-feeding components. When you drench it in the soil, they feel it, they cannot eat. Then they die of the hunger. inside the soil. Or you bring in a class that is not that devastating to important organisms in the soil. Because in the soil here we also have very relevant and critical organisms.
Okay.
You drench in the soil, it will hold them. Once the capsicum is above, let me say, 24 days since transplanting, you'll find the root stem itself is very hard for them to damage. They damage mostly in the first transplanting week.
Okay.
That's when the seedling is still a little bit spongy on the stems. They can cut. You'll just find a cut, then you see everything drying slowly, one step at a time. Those are cutworms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But not a big, not very important as opposed to the sucking ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sucking ones really do suck. One of the, actually, when you talk about general pests, aphids.
Correct.
Talk to me about aphids.
Now, aphids are still in the same class. They suck. But the beauty about what makes aphids also very important is their damage you can see as soon as possible. A good healthy leaf will always be fully spread. The moment you see the capsicum leaf curling inside, more or less like a fist, just check under the leaf area, turn it upside down. You'll find a group already in numbers, because they are also sucking. They have already started doing their job because they are reducing the leaf photosynthetic area. These plants make food through the leaves. If the leaf photosynthetic area is reduced, you won't get healthy flowers. That's one. So for aphids, there is a natural enemy that I usually recommend farmers when I say bring in the rosemaries, bring in the marigolds. So I bring in a plant that will attract its natural enemy. That's, for instance, when I'm doing open field production.
Okay.
Those are the ladybirds. They do a good job on aphids. They consume them properly. So if you have a lot of ladybirds going in, that's a natural control mechanism.
Okay.
If you find it's devastating, go for a pyrethrin product. Those are chemicals derived from the pyrethrum itself.
Okay.
At least they are eco-friendly. But again, you watch on the time of application so that you safeguard your pollinator.
Yes.
Because at times you'll complain, okay, I didn't get enough flowers, what and what. Because the bees, you are the one who barred them from coming to do their pollination due to your spray timing. Spray in the evening. When it's cool, it's less windy. When the bees are asleep, they are relaxing. The lethal dose limit, 8 hours by morning, is done. The bee can come back, pollinate for you without any damage. Yes.
Okay.
So aphids are also a headache.
Yeah.
Also sucking. Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Aphids. If you realize,
yes,
yeah, of course you said you can apply depending on the
stage.
On the stage.
Yes.
At the stage where it's affected quite a number, maybe a good portion of the farm.
Yes.
That is where you can come with the pyrethrum.
The pyrethrum chemical products.
Chemicals,
yes.
I'm confusing pollinator and pyrethrum.
Okay,
I'm fusing the words.
No.
But yes, so pyrethrum chemical products can come in.
They can come in.
On large scale.
No problem.
Okay.
Yes.
Medium scale, that's when you can have your ladybirds come in.
Okay, medium scale, that's a kitchen garden, definitely. The ladybirds can come in. Even in large scale production, let's say we are doing 2 to 3 acres, I usually encourage more of the natural enemies doing the work rather than going for the chemicals. Yes. So IPM create an environment of what we call ecological balance. Your health as a consumer is considered. The health of the insects, the important insects, is also considered. So the chemical comes as a last option. Yes, but not first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. And another sucking pest, red spider mites.
Yes.
These ones, the mites?
The mites, they are tiny also, black and tiny. Also very good at doing damages. But funny enough, the red spider mites usually get attracted to capsicum through aphids.
Okay.
Yes.
They're brothers.
No. There's a way they interact now in the natural concept.
Definitely.
Yes. You know, aphids usually have a secretion that they emit. So the secretion usually attracts a group of other ants, which will also be coming. So what the ants will do is, I take the sugar, the honeydew, it's called honeydew, and I protect the aphid. So a natural enemy cannot touch. Now come to the red spider mites. Also are very good in sucking. They'll come in numbers. The first thing you will know they are there, you check under the leaf, you find some black webs slowly manifesting around the leaves also. That one, if you see it immediately, you have to go for a pyrethrin product. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to go for a pyrethrin product.
Okay, no matter the scale.
That you have to go for it. You have to. Because the red spider mites, their enemies are not really that easy to attract into an ecosystem in large numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Who are the natural enemies for red spider mites?
Maybe less wings.
Okay.
They are very small insect also. Yeah. But bringing them into the ecosystem, unless we work with how do we call it? The guys who do ISIPE. You know ISIPE?
Yes.
Yeah, they are usually very good in doing a lot of research for natural enemies, the biocontrols. Then they release, they can handle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. And even as we come to the tail of this conversation, what I'm getting at is that integrated pest management should be a standard.
Correct.
For every farmer, especially capsicum farmers, since you're focusing on you today. And in regards to farmers educating themselves on this particular issue, I mean, Marshall, how do we make it a standard procedure for every capsicum farmer to know that IPM is one of the surest way of you getting your products in the right quality?
Okay, one way of making it a standard is what we are doing here. We need to enlighten the farmers more, and we need to be honest when it comes to safe crop production. There's something I say is called food and feed safety production protocols. When I talk about food, now it's human. Feed is animal. Any crop you're producing for animal consumption, that's a feed. You get it? So the food and feed safety protocols or standards, what we are doing here is already, we are starting it here. The farmer will know it's not a must I have to go for the chemical. I need to make my area be neat and clear with the harbors for the vectors which will bring in the insect, which is a pest. Number two, farmer forums, where at times we have, like I've seen Muranga Farmers Forum once in a while, Kiambu Farmers Forum, bring in those experts to train even in the vernacular language. Embrace it at the local level. 80% production in Kenya and in Africa are small-scale farmers in the market.
Yes, true.
So you have to put more effort to the small-scale farmers.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right.
So whatever you are doing here already, you are giving them an idea.
Okay.
Work with IPM. Not just necessarily go for, because now we are having cases of cancer-causing chemicals, Yes. So it starts where we are here.
Yes.
Then it spreads to the local farmer.
Definitely.
Correct.
Information is power.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Marshall, for making time to speak to us
I
on this
appreciate
particular issue.
Yes.
Marshall Nyagilo is an agronomy consultant, and today he shared his insights on matters capsicum. Thank you. Appreciate your input, and hopefully we get to discuss some of the other emerging issues in this world. But at this particular moment, Farm Kenya Show takes another short break. After we've dealt with capsicum, I don't know whether capsicum is one of the ingredients when it comes to the rupee thigh ball. Okay, that is what we're making today. This rupee thigh. I don't know where it is. Chef Ron will tell us. But right now, we take the short break. Then we come back and cook some more. Stay tuned.
na tupu